Oke, halo semuanya, selamat malam, selamat pagi waktu bagian Maryland. Jadi ketemu lagi bareng gue Imre di channel Cloud Engineering with Imre. Jadi udah rame, udah ada sekitar 90 orang yang nonton di berbagai channel. Dan malam ini emang episode spesial karena kita akan melakukan mock interview bareng siswa kelas 1 SMP. Mungkin tahun lalu, sekitar 1 tahun lalu kita punya episode bareng beliau juga, tapi waktu itu dia masih kelas 6 SD. Dan sekarang udah 1 SMP, jadi tingkat interviewnya tingkat kesulitan interviewnya kita naikin lagi. Dan spesialnya malam ini yang nge-interview bukan gue, tapi ahlinya. Dan kita panggilkan peserta dan penantang kita malam ini. Asik. Ada Zuis yang akan diinterview dan juga ada Kak Gogo yang akan nge-interview. Halo semuanya, halo Zuis. Before we start, let's introduce ourselves. I think Zuis, you can start.
Okay. I am Ahmad Zuis Anajib. I am currently studying in NUS High School of Math and Science in Singapore. And as mentioned by Pak Imre just now, I am currently grade 7 or secondary 1, say here.
Zuis, you don't need to call me Pak. You just need to use Bang or Kak.
Om.
Om Imre.
Yeah, you are an Om, Imre.
Oke. Kadang lupa ya, udah tua, udah jadi bapak-bapak ya, tapi ya nggak apa-apa. Kalau ada Zuis berasa banget udah tuanya. Oke, kita ada Kak Gogo juga. Jadi kalau teman-teman ngikutin mock interview di channel ini, sebelumnya kita udah pernah ngundang Kak Gogo juga buat nge-interview. Tapi itu sistem desain waktu itu, dan sekarang Kak Gogo akan nge-interview coding interview. Nah, sebelum itu mungkin Kak Gogo mau perkenalan diri dulu sedikit. Walaupun udah terkenal sebenarnya.
Enggak lah. What's up teman-teman? Perkenalkan saya Gogo. Sekarang jadi CTO di Pastry. Pastry itu ad network yang agak bagian-bagian Web3-nya. Sebelumnya saya di Firebox dan sebelumnya lagi di Facebook selama hampir 8 tahun lah gitu. So udah melakukan cukup banyak interviews dari interns all the way sampai paling tinggi kalau nggak salah engineering director ya. Jadi udah berbagai macam itu. Jadi hopefully bisa ngasih info-info dan ilmu-ilmu kisi-kisi lah gitu. Gimana sih cara biar passing interviews di Facebook or FANG in general.
Mantap. Jadi sebenarnya episode malam ini tuh harganya mahal ya Mas Gogo ya?
Iya, ini ceritanya saya actually a professional interviewer di interviewing.io. Kalau dilihat aku juga kaget, ternyata harganya $600 gitu. Padahal aku cuma dapat 300.
Wah, dibongkar. Harga dapur.
Iya.
Gede juga ya potongannya ya.
Iya, potongannya lumayan.
Wah, lumayan. Jadi kita interview akan berapa lama nih Kak nanti?
Jadi interviewnya ini akan aku bikin exactly the same as formatnya Facebook, right? Jadi normally it's going to be 45 minutes, tapi really just the first 5 minutes itu cuma basa-basi, 5 menit akhir itu cuma kayak ya Q&A dan kawan-kawan. Jadi real technical interview yang kita ngodingnya itu cuma 35 menit sih. Terus nanti mungkin kita bisa bahas tentang feedbacksnya untuk Zuis dan kayak room of improvements if any. Gitu.
Ya. Nanti kita setelah sesi interviewnya kita akan ada sesi ngobrol-ngobrol juga. Jadi kalau seandainya teman-teman udah insecure atau udah nggak kuat atau pengen bertanya, silakan tinggalin chat di YouTube. Nanti akan kita coba jawab beberapa selama waktunya masih memungkinkan. Jadi udah ada 170 orang yang nonton, nggak perlu berlama-lama lagi. Kita mulai aja kali ya, Kak Gogo ya, Zuis. Are you ready? Oke. Let me add the screen. Nanti aja kali ya Kak Gogo ya. Nanti kalau seandainya udah perlu gue masukin coding screennya, kasih tahu aja. Gue akan masuk ke backstage, jadi tinggal lu dan Zuis doang.
Oke, boleh.
Oke.
Yeah, and then go ahead and put the screen. Meanwhile, I'll explain a little bit ya, mungkin ya kayak where does this coding interview falls into the Facebook interview. Hope you don't mind this if we take maybe 2 or 3 minutes there.
Silahkan lu take over kanal YouTube gue. Terserah.
Oke.
Bebas. Oke. Selamat menikmati teman-teman semuanya. Semoga dapat banyak pelajaran dari sesi mock interview yang akan kita lakukan. Mohon pamit kembali ke backstage. Silakan Kak Gogo.
Just do you wanna share your screen? And then I'm gonna, okay, cool. So I hope everybody can see the screen, right? So just trying to explain a little bit the overall Facebook interview, right? The first interview is typically going to be HR and whatnot, right? It's going to be just matching about your resume. And then it will be followed up with like a screening interview, which is basically a coding interview like what we are going to face right now, but it's going to be 75% easier, right? So the question is going to be easier, the bar is going to be easier, right? It is written in the rule that like you should expect that only 1 out of 4 candidates that you pass in the screen interview is going to pass the real interview on site, right? And then on the on-site interview itself, you will have several interviews like this one, which is the coding interview, and then system design, and then behavior, right? Depending on your levels, there will be like multiple coding interviews or multiple system design or multiple behavior. The more senior, the less coding interview that you will get. So that's kind of like more or less kind of like just give an outline about like where this coding interview falls in, right? And then, I'm going to use the bar of the on-site coding interview, right? So I'm not going to go easy on you, Zeus. I'm going to do like my usual coding interview bar, right?
Okay.
So let's get started. Now it's 38. Let's try to finish by 13. So 7:13. Cool. You ready?
Okay.
Cool. So the first question is, let's say I'm a software engineer, right? Who's working at Facebook. And then in any given day, I do like many things. Let's say I start my day with coding, right? I do coding, and then after I code, I do code review, right? And then after I do some code review, I do maybe an interview, right? And then after I do interview, maybe I do some coding. And then because I'm an engineer, right, maybe I do, some coding again, and then maybe code review, and then coding again, right? So I make a notations of coding means A, code review means B, C means like interview, right? So every single activities here occupies exactly 1 hour. Right. So as you can see here, it means that like I have to finish everything here. I have to take like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. Right. But I get bored very easily. Right. I don't want to do 2 tasks, subsequently. Right. Because otherwise I get very, very bored. Right. So for every 2 tasks that is the same, right? 2 same tasks, I want them to be separate by at least 2 hours. So let me simulate this for you, right? Let's say I start with coding, which is totally fine. Like I can do coding immediately because I haven't coded before. I do code review, which is totally fine again because I haven't done code review before, right? I can do it immediately. And then after that, I can do interviews again, totally fine because I haven't done it before. And then if I want to do code again, I can do it immediately. Why? Because the last time I code is already more than 2 hours ago, right? It's fine. But then when I want to code again, I cannot do it. I'm too bored. I want to sleep for 2 hours. And only then I can code again.
I see.
When I want to do code review, I can do it because like it's been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours since the last time I do code review, right? So I'm totally fine. I can do code review immediately. And then if I want to code again, I cannot do it immediately. Why? Because I just code like an hour ago, right? So I need to sleep at least 1 hour, and only then I can code again. So as you can see here, because of my unique behavior, right, instead of 7 hours, I need to finish everything in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hours.
Oh.
So this is your question. I'm going to give you two inputs. The first one is going to be the task, right, that you have to do, and the second one is going to be the delay or like the gap between two tasks. Like I want two tasks to be separated by at least gap hour.
Okay.
The output is gonna be what is the minimum amount of hours that I need to take to finish everything. So in this particular test case, the answer is going to be 10 hours. So one thing that I need to clarify here is that you cannot rearrange the task. So you do it as like what I give you here.
Oh, okay. So when you say I cannot rearrange, let's say at a given moment, I am supposed to do task A, but I'm too bored to do task A. However, I'm able to do task B at the time. So are you saying that I'm not allowed to do task B and have to
Yes,
rest?
you cannot. Yep, you have to
see.
rest for the next task. Yes, you're correct.
I see. Well, the first thought that comes to my mind is probably just loop through the tasks and keep note of the last time the task was done. 0, a -1 if it wasn't done yet, and then you just check if the gap is smaller than the difference between the previous time you done the task and the current time, right? If it's greater, then that means you are too bored to do it right now, so you just wait for a few minutes, wait for a few hours, finding that amount of time shouldn't be that hard. Then so you just wait for a few hours and then you do it.
Okay, sounds like a plan. What is the time and space complexity here?
The time and space complexity. So since we are just doing a linear search, the time complexity should be O of n, where n is the number of tasks, or in other words, the length of the string.
Okay.
And space complexity, since we are keeping track of the previous time we've done a task, the maximum number of tasks we can get is n, right? Assuming that every task is different, that's the worst case scenario. Our space complexity would be O of n.
Okay.
So time complexity, space complexity of n.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Go ahead and try to code it.
Okay. So first we input the tasks and gap variables, right? And is task is given as a string, right? As like this.
So that like we are not limited to 26 tasks. Let's do like array of integer instead.
Array of integers, okay.
So this will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so let's say I have my tasks right now represented as a vector. I'll have to include that. So let's say this is a vector of the task or the array of the tasks, and I have the gap, right? The input details, I'm not so sure about that, but we'll focus on the algorithm first. So how we'll do this is we'll look through the tasks for in I equals 0, I smaller than task.size I plus plus. We'll have to check the previous time we encountered this, right? So in current task is equal to tasks I, let's say. And to keep track of the last time we met it, we can use a map or unordered map for space. Faster. Yeah, faster. It doesn't really for ON time complexity we can use unordered map. So if you use an unordered map to keep track of the last time we got it, it would be an unordered map of int to int. We'll call it M, let's say. So let's represent the time as 1 based, so that we can use the default value of unordered map, which is 0. We can use that to indicate that it hasn't been found yet. So if current task, if a map of current, oh wait, it's confusing. We'll use another word like previous used, previous done, let's say. So if the previous done of current task, if the current task was previously not done yet, or in other words, if it's 0, or if not m dot find, that's another way to do it. If not pref done dot find, wait, sorry, wrong implementation. If pref done dot find of current task equals to pref done dot end, then that means we haven't done the current task before. So we'll just use it as the answer. I will just do it right now. So ans plus. Yeah. So that's one case. The other case is when we have done it. So then we just have to check if pref done current task, if the amount of time in between pref done current task and current time, which is ans, if ans minus pref done current task, if it's greater than or equal to gap, right? Yeah, if it's greater than or equal to gap, then we'll just do it right now also. So ans plus. And then we have to update pref done. So ans plus pref done current task equals to ans. Or did I do that before? Yeah. Oh wait, but 0. Yeah. Do this. So yeah, if you can do it right now, then you do it right now. If not, then I have to ans equals to pref done current task plus the gap plus the amount of time to get
Nice.
get to the next time if we did. And then pref done current task equals to ans. Yeah. So I think this is about it. See out ans and line. Should be. Let's try some test cases first. Oh, the input. Let's do a simple input for in I equals in n for the size.
Before you start doing the testing with CoderPad, right? So typically when you are in interview setup like this, especially at Facebook or Google or Amazon, right? You are not going to be allowed to run the task. So you are not going to be allowed to run the program. So do you want to try to dry run the program? Like I will allow you to run the program probably after this, but for now, can you dry run the task, the program to see that that you managed to verify everything?
Dry run as in like run it with our own
Line by line.
brain, like
Yeah,
just
exactly.
going through oh, I see. So let's try this example.
And tell me about like how are you running it?
Yeah. So let's try this A B C A B A. Right, this one. I'll run it here so that I can see both the running and code. So right now we're looking at A. Yeah, we're looking at A. Current task is A, or in other words 1 if it's integers. Then we check pref done.find current task. Pref done.find current task is equal to pref done.end, which means that A has not been done yet, and that is true. So ans right now it will become 1. Will be equal to 1. Time equals to 1. And then we go to the next one, B. Have we done B? We have not done B, so ans equals to 2. Then we look at C, pref done not done yet, ans equals to 3. Then let's try A. That's like Yeah, pref done A was.
Are you
Oh, I see. It appears I have made a mistake. I did not update pref dance at all. Hmm. So that means I can just add it here because it's doing the same thing. So if the current task has not been done yet, or the gap is too small, then we ans plus. Oh wait, no, if the gap is too big, I mean, how you phrase? It doesn't matter. If what call that? If you're able to do it right now, basically, then just plus 1 hour and pref done current task equals to 1, which is the upper bound of the timing. Okay, so then that means A would be 1 right now, B would be 2, C would be 3. And then now we process the next A, which is at ans equals to 3. 3 minus 1 is equals to 2, right? 3 minus 1 equals to 2. Is 2 greater than gap? In this case, gap is 2. Yes. Is 2 greater than or equal to gap greater than or equal to 2? Yes, that is true. Therefore, we just have to do it in 1 hour. Ans equals to 4. Then we update this to ans to A equals to 4.24. And then we have the same process with B. Oh wait, no, we have another A. Never mind. So if we process this other A again, we are at ans equals to 4. 4 minus 4 equals to 0, which is it greater than gap? Is it greater than 2? It is not. So then what will you do if it's not greater than, if it's smaller than 2? It's smaller than 2. What we would do is ans equals to pref done current task plus gap equals to 4 plus 2 equals to 6. So it becomes 6, which means that we have waited 2 hours. And that seems right. We wait 2 hours and we update this to the time we did it.
not be 6, right?
Oh yeah, it takes 1 hour to do. So it should actually be 7. So this should be plus 1. Yeah. Because that's the amount of time waited and then you have 1 hour to do the task. I see. So then ans equals 7, A is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Following this string, this output result, yeah. And then we go to B. What will happen when it's B? It's clearly more than 2 hours. So what will simulated? B would be at 7. 7 minus 2 equals to 5, which is greater than or equal to 2. So this will be updated. Plus 1 becomes 8. Ans will be 8 now. Then B will be 8. Then C. Oh, we have another A. So right now, A ans, the current time is 8. 8 minus 7 equals to 1. And 1 is smaller than gap, smaller than 2. So then that means we repeat the same process. Ans will be updated to what A is pointed to. Last time we did A, which is 7, plus the gap, which is 2, plus 1. So it's equal to 10. This will be 10. And that's the end. Ans equals to 10, which is correct. So this algorithm works. And following my IO background, I'll try to like optimize it. Or is this enough? I'm not sure how.
Oh, I think this is enough. My question is going to be, my question next is going to be, is there any other test cases that you want to try to make sure that this is actually a correct answer?
Is there any other test cases I want to try? Is there any other test cases I want to try? What if gap was a very huge number? Oh no, then I can just change that to long one. What other test cases do I want to try? I should try the extreme cases. For example, when every task is unique, or every task is the same, or when the gap is very small, or when the gap is very big. Those are usually the test cases I will look at first.
Okay.
So for example, I look at like A, everything A, or everything A, B, C, D, E, F, G, everything's unique. Or I'll look at when gap is equal to 0, or when I look at gap equals to like 1e6 or something, 10 power 6 or greater. Those are the test cases I'll look at first usually. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Give me a second. Just taking some notes. Okay, cool. So let's move to next question. The next question is actually very simple to explain. As you can see, this one in this question, in the question number 1, you cannot rearrange the task. In the question 2, you can rearrange the task. So imagine this, right? Say you have another C here, right? Then typically in previous task, you have to do C here, right? And then you have to do everything in 11 hours. But actually you can move C to this place, right? So that you still do it in 10 hours.
I see. So the second question
So-
is basically the same as the first question, but you can rearrange the task.
Yep, exactly same question, exactly same input, exactly same expected output, but you can rearrange the task.
I see. So the first thought that comes to my mind is using a greedy approach. So instead of looping through the tasks, maybe we put the tasks into a counter or something. Yeah, so we keep note of the number of tasks we have left. And then we look at all the tasks that we can do and find which one has the smallest gap. Yeah. Which one wait, which one has been most recently done? Or most latest done? How would you do this question? Oh wait. What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah. Maybe. Oh no, I'm sorry. Another idea comes into my mind where, for example, let's say we have 3 types of tasks ABC. We can repeat. We can just repeat ABC multiple times if the gap suffices, right?
Mhm.
0. So that's one insight that we can use,
Yeah.
which means that if the gap is greater than the number of uh, tasks, for example, over here, this would only be possible if gap was greater than or equal to 2, right?
Mhm.
So let's say we have a bigger subset of ABCD, let's say, and gap equals to 2, for example. Yeah. How will we go through this? Maybe we cycle through the tasks. So A, B, C, D in order of most number of tasks. So let's say that the number of tasks of A is without loss of generosity, we'll assume that number of tasks of A will be greater than or equal to number of tasks of B, greater than C, greater than D, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So in that scenario, if gap equals to 2, then we can just continue cycling ABCD, ABCD, ABCD until like we run out of D, for example. Then we'll have to go with ABC, ABC. And then we run out of C, for example, so we have to go AB. And since gap equals to 2, AB is when it breaks, since we cannot do A again. So we'll have to wait for 1, press, and do A, B. Oh, So that means we just have to find the number of. You just have to group it into these groups.
But this is suboptimal, right? Like you actually can move the D here into here, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Almost there. So you have those two good observation. The first one is greedy in a sense that you start from the one that is most used. The one that is most frequent, the most character, most frequent. And the second one, you cycle through something, right? So those are good observation, but not quite there yet.
What? For example, let's assume gap is 2. What if we just cycle A, B, and C again and again? Or maybe we cycle gap letters, gap number of tasks. So we cycle A, B, and A, B, space, A, B, wait, A, B, wait, A, B, wait. And then this extra slots in between, we fill in with the other letters we have. So then yeah, so for example over here we can do A, B, and then let's say do C first because it's most frequent, and then A, B, C, A, B, C, and then maybe after some time we finish using B runs out, right? So let's say this doing C again, and then we run out of B, so we'll have to do A, C, then A, C, D, let's say. Then eventually we might run out of A first, probably. There are two cases. We run out of A and then we'll go C. No, we cannot do C.
Yeah.
Oh,
another hint for you, right? So instead of like statically using ABC, right? Say let's use specific numbers, right? Say you have like for A, you have 3B, and then you have like 2C, right? How would you cycle through this?
How will I cycle through that? Well, I should prioritize the most frequent one. So let's say gap is 2, as before.
Yeah.
Then we'll start with an AB, and then we wait, and then repeat AB, we wait, AB. We can do this 3 times until B runs out, right? And then these gaps in between, we can fill in with the C's. So fill in with C, let's say, and fill in with C. And then at this point,
so I have a question here. Like, why do you decide to use C here in this part?
What? Deciding to use. Oh, why do I decide to use C? Well, C is the most frequent of the letters that I'm not using currently. So currently I'm using A and B, which leaves me out with C and D. And
but once you use C here, right, your C is only 1, right? But your D is still 2.
Oh, that's true. So then the priority changes to D.
I'm going to keep adding so that like it becomes more apparent.
I see. I see.
You are onto something. The priority changes, and then
Yeah. So basically, the general idea I've been doing until now is do the most most prioritized task that is still able to be done and put it together.
Yeah.
I'm unable to. I'm not making the link yet. Okay, so let's try again. Just now, we'll do A. A becomes 3, right? So A becomes 3. Let's say G is 1 instead. We'll do A becomes 3. And then right now, the most frequent that we can do that we haven't done is B. Oh wait, what if we just print the first gap plus one most frequent letters? So first we print ABC. That's the first three letters. Since gap is 2, gap plus 1 is 3. That's the safest cycle we can continue to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
We read that 1, 2, 3. But then now C is 1. So D, E, and F are like more frequent. So then
Yep.
now the top 3 frequent are A, B, D, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it
Yep.
becomes like this.
Yep.
Then top 3 frequents
Yep.
are A, D, A, E, F, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
becomes 1, 1. The one corner case, I guess, that comes up would be a possibility that, for example, we do A, B, C, and then A runs out, C runs out, and B is most prioritized. So then it would be B, E, F. But actually, this actually can still be, yeah, B, E, and F can still be rearranged, right? So
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
well, which means that it doesn't really matter. The no matter what kind of no, it doesn't matter how we arrange the cycles. We just need to identify the cycles of gap plus one. Yeah, so you just sum up you can just sum up the frequencies and divide, use modular arithmetic to find the number of cycles. Or maybe
Almost, not quite.
no.
There are two ways to solve this, by the way. From your point where you are right now, there are two ways to solve this. The first one is going to be using priority queue. The second one is using some math. So you are thinking about math, but it's not about module.
I see.
So do you want to solve it with math? Because there isn't there. I need to give you another hint if you want to solve it with math.
We'll try priority queue first. Actually, with priority queue,
Okay.
it should be that hard, right?
Yeah.
Because you just put in the priority queue and then repeat gap plus one times, take the top, subtract, and use that task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be. Oh, but then yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Oh wait, but a corner case happens when, let's say we are in this situation right now, but A has 2 extra. Can that happen in a situation where there's only one task left? So we have to, yeah. Yeah, okay.
You mean like you have like multiple like 100 A here?
Yeah, that can be handled by just like removing first, but then don't add it back until the cycle has been found already. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's not a problem. Okay,
Okay.
so LTQ, I found the implementation. Let's try with math now. How do we do this with
Okay.
math? What
Okay.
insight?
So I don't think like we will have time to do the coding, right? So let's actually solve the math. So one more thing that last that I can give you to solve it with math is so you are imagining that you are building a cycle, right? A B C, A B D, A C D, whatever, right? But one observation here that you might realize is that it's basically just putting A, right? A, and then you put space. Right?
Oh.
A, and then put space. A, and then put space. Then what happened if you put BC? What happened with the rest of the items, right? They will fill this in. Like it's going to be BC, it's going to be CD, it's going to be EF, whatever, right? And then, if we still have more items, you can actually fill in the middle here, right? Like G here or E here, right? So it doesn't matter as long as the most frequent character actually is there, right? It's already evenly spaced out. Does it make sense?
Yeah, so you just find the most frequent and multiply.
So you can put anything here. Exactly. But there is an edge case. What if you have multiple maximum numbers? So you have like 100 here and 100 here. What happened then?
then you just have to add 1 at the end.
Exactly. Perfect. Super simple implementation, right?
Yeah. Then yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
I see.
That's the math. Cool. So I think time is up. Give me a second. Let me just.
Won't it? ABC. What if you have a equals to 5?
Give me a second.
Okay. So. But what if you have like A equals to 5, B equals to B equals to 3?
Okay. Where are you? Okay. So let me
B
just write down.
C D. Oh, I see.
The code. Sorry, let me just finish up my feedback real quick. Okay, I think I got it. Omire, do you want to come back and then we can discuss about feedbacks?
Yeah, sure.
Oke, luar biasa. Kita beri tepuk tangan yang meriah dulu nih untuk Gogo dan Zeus. Pakai sound effect. Jadi sebelum kita dengar feedback dari Gogo, Zeus, what do you think? What do you feel?
Definitely better than last time.
Yeah, of course, because the interviewer now is so much better. Do you think it's easy, hard, or what do you think, Zeus? To me, it's hard, but I don't know. Probably it's easy for you. Or medium.
It wasn't really that hard, but
All right.
then because it's a technical interview, it's not really about like solving the problem as I've learned from observing. It's not really about solving the problem, but rather the process to getting the solution, which is
Right.
different from IO style.
Yeah, right. Mas Gogo, silahkan feedback.
Yeah. So overall, right, your performance is actually quite decent. Let me just write down here, just like how I would do to my, who I coach. So this overall is a week higher. For overall week higher just week higher. Yeah. For the on-site interview, right? So good stuff. So just let me explain about the bar, right? So the bar of this interview is basically to finish and completely, destroy the first question, right? Basically, like you should understand the optimal solutions. You can code it, you can verify it, you can explain and everything, right? And then you can also come up with the solution of the second question, but you don't really have to code it, right? So we don't really expect people to be able to solve the second question. We don't expect that people will be able to write the code for the second question because they will be busy like figuring out what is the end solution, right? But being able to solve it is sufficient, right? You don't really have to code or verify for the second question. That is the bar for this particular sets of questions, right? Some other sets of questions will have different bar, right? For example, you might need to solve both questions, right? But for this particular question, you only have to solve completely the first one and come up with a solution on the second one, right? And then let me explain why you got a week higher, right? And then as you say, this is actually like just 2 medium questions, right? At Facebook, unlike at Google or like at Palantir or like probably like the harder, more hardcore companies, right? We don't do hard questions, right? We just do easy and medium or medium or at most easy and hard, right? So we don't do like hard questions. Why? Because ultimately what we want to actually solve, we want to see is like your talent, right? But secondly is like, can you really work with the interviewer, right? Can you actually talk, discuss, and go back and forth, right? So uniquely, I feel, right, at Facebook, it's actually okay to get hints, right? So, trying to jump a little bit to the second question, like you probably observe that you are actually getting a lot of hints, right? All the way through from like the beginning of like the greedy approach and then all the way to the math solutions, you are getting a lot of hints. That's actually okay, right? The thing here is that like you actually manage to understand those hints and manage to come up with like the solution as well, right? In the end. So let me explain why this is a weak hire. So let's start from what you did well, right? So overall, you did amazing on the first question, right? Problem solving, typically people take like 10 minutes to come up with a solution for the first one, right? But you take only 5 minutes, right? Your coding is on point, practically almost $0, only one, but you also, validated yourself. You came up with the solution yourself. You came up with the bug yourself. And then the dry run is also quite okay, right? It's not too long, it's not too short, but it's okay, right? Speed of the dry run is good. And you also came up with several interesting edge cases. So that's good, right? The one that can be improved is the visualizations of the algorithm on the first one, right? So instead of immediately saying like, oh, I'm going to like just store the last, the last occurrence of task A or task B or task C, you could have mentioned, right, since you are here, right, I'm going to write it down here. Say, oh, I'm in line
silakan.
42, by the way. Yeah. So you could have written that like, oh, this is A, it's going to be 0, right? And then B is going to be 1. You could have explained it before you write the code. You could have explained this. Visually write it down, right? And talk about it, right? And actually, the visualization is actually more important than what you say, right? Because people actually can communicate easier with visualizations, and this visualizations is very important because typically interviewers are busy, right? Once you are done with the interview, typically they are not going to write your feedback immediately, right? I can do this right now, write your feedback immediately because I'm a professional interviewer, but typically interviewer doesn't write their feedback immediately. They will take time to kind of like, run through like what you are doing in your session, right? And probably even forget, right? So the only thing that stays is actually your note, right? Your writing, your thought process in a form of writing. So whatever you say actually will be forgotten, most likely, right? So it's very important to visualize your thought process before you write the code, right? I think that's mainly it from the first question. Oh yeah, one more thing. By the way, I read your feedback at the line 83 all the way until like line 146. I'll write it down there. Yeah. So what can be improved? One more thing that you can be improved is the verification, right? So you could have write all of things here instead in the main function. You could have written a separate function, so you can kind of like test it easily, right? It's just like kind of like more of like industry standard, which is not quite common in competitive programming, but that is what is expected in interview. Yeah. Any question about feedback for the first question?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you are quite on point on the first question, right? So even just by finishing the first question, right, it's already like a week higher already because how good you are on doing the first question. On second question though, like the expectation is like you either get enough hints, like maybe 2 or 3 hints, right, to get you to the optimal solutions. Or like be able to at least kind of like visualize or write pseudocode, right? But you didn't get there, right? So practically, in this question, I can evaluate out of you is that you can actually receive hints, right? which is by itself is kind of like a green neutral green and neutral flag, right? So it means like, okay, this guy can talk with me, I can work with him, I can, if he's making any mistakes, I can, explain to him, and then like he can actually adjust it with his solution. That's the only thing, the only green bar that I can, green marker that I can give to the second question. So with all of those things, I can only give you a week higher overall for, Facebook level interviews.
I see. Okay.
Cool.
Sudah. Tidak ada.
Any
Gue punya pertanyaan deh. Biar
Mhm.
kan decision ini week hire. Biar kalau di atas week hire itu apa? Hire doang
Hire.
atau hire?
Jadi ada
Kalau
weak hire, strong hire, sama absolute hire.
biar jadi hire, at least butuh apa?
Biar ada hire, at least harus bisa nulis the formula for the math solutions, or at least some kind of pseudocode for degree solutions.
Oh, I see. Berarti cuma butuh 1 poin dari what can be improved.
Just one more bit, just a little bit.
Wow, luar biasa.
Cuma we as the interviewer are asked to be harsh, ya, karena there are so many people who applies to Facebook anyway, so it's better to be false negative than false positive.
I see. Oke, kita panggilkan saja Mas Ainun kali ya, biar kita bisa ngobrol-ngobrol sedikit. Mas Ainun? Nah, udah. Oh, langsung masuk di sana ya?
Iya, di sini aja.
Okay.
Oh, a little bit mungkin ya, aku ngomongin yang masalah week hire ini artinya apa ya? Jadi week hire ini kan interviewnya nggak cuma 1 ya. So you have like 5 interviewers or something. Basically week hire means like if mungkin kayak agak-agak statistik ya, kayak 4 orang bilang hire and 1 say week hire, then you always hire gitu kan. If 1 people say week hire, 1 people say week no hire, and everyone else bilang hire, then it's probably no hire, right? So it's a little bit of like balancing gitu sih.
I see. Mas Ainun, gue jadi penasaran. Dari interview tadi, kalau Mas Ainun diminta untuk ngasih feedback untuk Zwis, how you do it? What kind of feedback?
Did not anticipate this question. Oh yeah, one thing ya. Aside from yang Mas Gogo udah sampaikan tadi, spot on banget visualizing and actually ability to explain the train of thought. Udah cukup bagus verbally, tapi it was written and visualized, I think will be much better. So completely agree with that. Tapi satu poin yang saya lihat kayaknya Duis could have taken pauses. He could have, especially moving on from problem 1 ke problem 2. Itu kan, from easy question jadi tiba-tiba much harder kan. Then could have taken a pause untuk mikir, okay, so what does this mean? What does it change? What does it affect the assumptions that initially I used to have? Karena in this particular problem apalagi ya, uniknya itu asumsi yang hilang itu mempersulit tapi juga mempermudah. Nah, I think Duis immediately realize mempersulitnya, tapi if he pause, mungkin dia bisa lihat kalau itu sebetulnya mempermudah. Karena kalau bisa di shuffle, oh ya wis, give it a bit of thought, you will realize that, hey, I'm only concerned with the longest one. Okay, everything else, I can just, it's just dense packing. Gitu. Just take the longest ini, terus make sure that everything else I can squeeze into the gap left behind. If cannot squeeze kayak tadi yang corner case, ada 2 or more yang longest, then okay, you have to pack it behind gitu kan. So you cannot squeeze gitu. That's it gitu. Selesai gitu. He just needed a pause to think of it.
Betul.
Cuman memang ini mungkin juga karena kebetulan it's a problem yang can be solved with math. Karena not always algorithm atau coding problem itu can be solved with math. Not always. Jadi I think it was just an interesting experience or a flux. But yeah, what he could have done better is take a bit of pause to see who knows the observations. What are the new observations as we change the assumption? Itu tadi. Ya, mungkin itu doang. Yeah.
Betul banget sih.
Ya, silakan Mas Gogo.
Sebenarnya kayak kalau mau dilanjutin gitu. Tadi sebenarnya so you could have basically kind of like resume your assumptions, then actually nanti will come up with the priority queue solutions, right? Or like you can pause and then like just see it from like a blank canvas, and then you will came up with the math solution. So both actually kind of works. Jadi makanya aku nggak interfere as interviewer, right? Dan both solutions are actually accepted.
Yep.
Zeus, what do you think? Anything to say?
I understand.
Better improvement from last year for sure.
Yeah. Udah jauh. I just want to know, Zeus, from the last interview that we had last year and what we just had today, in your opinion, what kind of improvement or what are the things that you learned for the past 1 year? Basically just want to know how fast you progress or how far you progress from our past meetings.
Well, I think one improvement, of course, is the fact that I entered NUS High and got to, meet some other people who have the same type of interests and then learn from each other. So definitely, I have improved in terms of knowledge this past year. In terms of like my interview, how do you say it? My presentation. Uh, I do feel like I have gotten a bit better in terms of presentation. For example, when I look at the previous interview, last year's one, I did not write like much visualization, not even any at all, I think. So that's probably one of the reasons I got stumped at such a simple question last year. Compared to now, where I put some visualization, but it could still be improved a bit. I added some comments, but like Gogo said just now that I could write out the map itself and go through it more easily. So yeah, I did improve, but there are still lots of different areas I can still improve on from here on.
Yep. Yang poin pertama itu intinya gurunya bukan cuma saya lagi gitu. Sebelumnya kan gurunya saya.
Zeus, boleh cerita nggak?
In communication juga, and that's I think I am particularly very happy with. Karena it's something that you can't really teach. It's something that he has to practice and he has to take up on his own the way to interact and communicate with people. Ya, sorry Om Imre, lanjut.
Jadi lupa mau nanya apa, nggak apa-apa Mas Daniel. Kak Gogo, gue penasaran deh. Kalau lu dulu kan juga competitive programming kan ya?
Ya.
Dan kalau dari kacamata lu sendiri, dari competitive programming, kemudian dengan proses interview di perusahaan kayak Facebook dan segala macam, itu menurut lu seberapa berbeda sih? Ya mulai dari sana deh pertanyaannya. Apakah kalau ditanya, kalau pertanyaan gue membantu atau enggak, pasti membantu kan? Karena pertanyaan-pertanyaan kayak tadi kan, lu udah latihan mungkin lebih awal gitu. Tapi seberapa berbeda dan apa sih dari dulu yang lu mungkin competitive programming banget, kemudian sekarang lu mungkin udah masuk punya culture kayak interview di Facebook dan di tempat-tempat lain, itu gimana perubahan mungkin sudut pandang lo, cara berpikir lo tentang melihat dua hal tadi?
Mungkin kita mulai dari dulu pas aku pertama kali interview di Facebook ya gitu. Honestly, dulu waktu aku interview di Facebook, I was really surprised by exactly the same. Jadi kayak you do competitive programming, you do like SRM, CP, IOI gitu, kayak exactly the same questions gitu. Mungkin ya harder difficulty saja gitu, or take home test atau apa. Cuma kayak exactly the same problem, terus kayak ketika kan ada take home testnya awal-awal gitu kan, take home test, lu cobalah beresin ini gitu. So aku bisa kayak, ya kayak hard questions gitu kan. Terus pas interviewnya, surprisingly, exactly kayak juga CP style gitu. Terus aku kayak, okay. So that's why kayak aku selalu bilang sih bahwa kayak, Gogo gimana caranya bisa masuk Facebook gitu. Aku bilang hoki gitu. Karena aku dulu IOI gitu kan. Dan kayak hoki banget IOI itu kayak ya udah lebih susah daripada kayak interview di Facebook gitu kan. Jadi kayak ya ngerjain Facebook itu kayak ya ngerjain soal-soal isi-isinya aja gitu. Jadi kayak ya udah sih masuk aja gitu. Tapi not because I'm good, cuma kayak karena hoki aja dari SMA itu udah mulai CP. Jadi jawabanku untuk kayak interview pas awal itu bedanya CP sama interview masuk company gede itu apa? Gak ada sih. Surprisingly ya gitu. Even kayak dari presentations gitu, dulu aku gak bisa bahasa Inggris. So ketika dijelasin sama orangnya gitu, I don't even say anything. Kayak Zuis is amazing already ya. Dia bisa kayak ngomong all the thought process, bisa jelasin everything lah literally gitu, kayak dari thought prosesnya dari juga kode-kodenya. Aku ketika di interview kemarin dulu pas intern, I didn't even say anything. Kayak dia nyeritain apa gitu, aku kayak langsung coding aja. I didn't even confirm the question by the way. Kayak because I cannot speak English back then.
Oh, wow.
I just code aja gitu. Gitu terus kayak orangnya ngelihat kodenya terus kayak are you sure we are talking about the same question gitu, terus kayak emang pertanyaan lu apa ya gitu ya. Enggak, ini lu salah pertanyaan by the way. Oh oke sorry gitu, aku paham sekarang, oke tak ganti gitu kan. So like dulu aku lulus purely because my competitive programming skill was really good, right? Karena aku IOI. And again itu cuma gara-gara hoki aja. So I have no doubt kayak Zuis, you know, like just with a little bit more polish, kayak will get there gitu kan. Both dari segi IOI bisa lah gitu kan. Dan juga kalau interview di CP, interview ke Facebook or anything itu bisa banget sih. Saya dulu aku aja bahasa.
Lu tahu nggak dulu tuh lu weak hire atau strong hire?
Oh, sadly I don't know. Cuma one thing that I know adalah I only have 2 interviews, right? So internship typically you have 2 interviews, dan kalau meragukan maybe 3, right? So I believe maybe at least hire dua-duanya. Karena aku nggak ada interview ketiga.
I see. Tapi berarti kalau seandainya tadi Zuis dapat weak hire karena mungkin visualisasi dan bahkan Zuis juga komunikasi dan segala macam, berarti standar interview Facebook pada tahun itu bisa jadi berbeda dengan apa yang lu temukan di terakhir lu di Facebook?
Enggak juga sih, actually kayak segitu-segitu aja. Facebook, I think there is an article that basically says that Facebook is one of the most consistent bar on interview. Karena emang praktis dan itunya kayak ngajarin interviewersnya emang rigorous banget sih.
I see. Zuis, you have any questions that you want to ask to Gogo? That's the time.
Any questions I want to ask?
What do you want to learn? I mean, in general, even beyond this interview, I think you have to take this rare opportunity.
How to be a better coder? I don't know.
Zuis is really good at asking, at answering the coding problem, but confused when what to ask to Gogo. He's nervous. I didn't even see that you were nervous during the interview, but when I asked you, do you have any question? And then you're nervous. That's okay. You can ask anything.
Social skill. To improve social skill.
Not sure I have any questions.
Okay. Mas Ainun, ada yang mau ditanyain sama Gogo mungkin? Atau Gogo mau nanya ke Mas Ainun?
I think in general karena Om Gogo ini kan membawa pengalaman real dari Silicon Valley ke Indonesia ya. And I think we are doing all this sebetulnya kan untuk memotivasi dan menginspirasi teman-teman di Indonesia that we all can do this gitu. Saya pakai peci juga supaya orang aware kalau sendeso-sendeso atau apapun background Anda juga you can do this, and we have to karena zamannya seperti ini. It's a globalized, we need to become global citizen lah udah. Nah, and we have all the accesses in our fingertips kan. Kemarin saya nemu meme kocak banget gitu. If you met someone from the 50s, what will be the most bizarre thing to explain to him gitu? And the most bizarre thing is actually I have an advanced device in my pocket that have access to all the complete knowledge of humanity ever known in my fingertips. And I use it to watch cat videos. So, yeah, I mean, we are all guilty of it kan. Kita tuh punya access to unlimited knowledge and opportunities. There's no excuse anymore. Tapi we are also still guilty of it gitu. Jadi teman-teman yang di chat ini yang insecure, insinyur segala macam, hey, you have the same access. You have the same access as you is gitu. I mean ya memang sekolahnya beda ya, trainernya lain. Tapi the internet you have the same, the tooling you have the same, and all the resources is been learning from are all free resources available termasuk tlx.toki.id. Every weekend he does problems there. Tapi codebreaker.xyz itu yang paling populer di sini karena itu kayak TLX-nya Singapura lah. Ya, terus ada Code Forces, ada AdCoder, LeetCode, dan seterusnya ya banyak banget gitu. Specific on this, and it's not just limited to this, right? Digital marketing and generative AI, whatnot. It's all in our fingertips now. So, sorry, kok malah saya jadi ngomong. Tadinya pertanyaan buat Gogo.
Nggak apa-apa.
What I want to hear from you, Mas Gogo, is what do you think is needed? Apa yang diperlukan oleh teman-teman kita di Indonesia ini? Supaya bisa seperti Mas Gogo lah, jangan seperti saya, Mas Gogo aja go to Silicon Valley gitu kan, tapi nggak harus mengandalkan hoki ya. Like what is the thing required here?
Kalau dari aku sih mungkin jawabanku adalah community dan resource ya. By community adalah kayak ya orang-orang yang sepantaran kita gitu. Soalnya kan kalau misal udah kejauhan udah malas gitu kan, ya lu kan jago gitu. Malas gue ngikutin gitu. Cuma kalau yang sepantaran gitu masih semangat kejar kerja bareng, belajar bareng. Itu satu, community-nya ya. Yang kedua itu adalah resource-nya. Dan especially surprisingly gitu adalah yang berbahasa Indonesia gitu. Soalnya somehow masih banyak yang kayak kesulitan gitu kan. Dan salah satu kan aku lagi ngeran TLX juga nih kebetulan. Salah satu feedback yang kayak kenapa orang suka gitu adalah ya karena pakai bahasa Indonesia gitu kan. Dan mungkin sebenarnya bahasa yang harusnya kita pelajari sebagai engineer pertama kali bukan C++ atau Pascal, sebenarnya bahasa Inggris gitu. Cuma while we accommodate that gitu, ya bisa kita dari tim ya Toki sedang berusaha sih untuk kayak ngebikinin TLX supaya bisa bantuin teman-teman beresin fundamentalsnya gitu ya. Jadi misalnya sebelumnya mungkin kayak ya udah kuliah just for the sake of kuliah, nggak diberesin fundamentalsnya, nyontek dan kawan-kawan, yowes sakarepmu lah gitu. Cuma kayak it is needed, it is required, dan ketika kamu sudah mulai sadar, yuk monggo kita bantuin gitu kan via apapun lah gitu, via dari community-nya, dari TLX bisa ngobrol-ngobrol bisa, dari Twitter, whatever.
Tadi websitenya apa? tlx.toki.id ya?
Aku lupa TLX. Ya, tlx.toki.id.
Oke, silahkan teman-teman yang mau belajar. Gue punya pertanyaan buat Mas Ainun. Mas Ainun, tahun lalu kan Zuis masih SD ya. Terus sekarang udah masuk sekolah, SMP, tadi dapat banyak mentor baru gitu. Terus gue jadi penasaran setelah dia SMP mungkin dapat mentor baru, teman-teman baru. Peran Mas Ainun itu ada yang berubah nggak dari mungkin dulunya intensitinya banyak terus sekarang jadi lebih sedikit atau sebenarnya sama aja?
Short answer yes, jadi kayak lega gitu. Jadi bisa move to the next one gitu kan, the next one. Short answer yes, cuman menariknya juga I think nggak bisa dilepas sama sekali. So there are still regular check-ins that we need to do. To make sure he is on track, and actually most importantly his well-being, mental well-being. Karena NUS High School is perhaps one of the hardest school, if not the hardest school in Singapore. Very very hard. Kurikulumnya nggak masuk akal itu. Dia the last few weeks dia komplain tentang nggak paham kimia SPDF. Like I don't even know what is that SPDF. SPDF optional lah. Lagi itu kamu ngapain komplain? You need to chill lah.
My chemistry does.
Okay, alright. Anyway, jadi sebagai gambaran gitu kan, pelajaran yang kita dulu SMP baru belajar, ini SMP kelas 1 udah belajar dalam konteks ini kimia. Terus matematikanya juga di accelerate, terus ya kayak tugasnya apa segala macam banyak. Bahkan tugas computational thinking aja itu tugasnya bikin poster art pakai coding. Poster art. Jadi unit ability to draw poster tapi pakai coding gitu. Agak kocak juga. Jadi it's very 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 hard school. Jadi a bit overwhelming buat dia, and sometimes his mental well-being juga we need to check in. Jadi kadang-kadang kita harus maksa dia untuk jalan-jalan kayak atau apa gitu. right? Karena kalau nggak glued into the laptop and all. So yes, berubahnya tidak lagi sebagai trainer, tapi mungkin lebih sebagai coach jadinya kan. Like, I mean, you know the difference kan. Kalau sebelumnya saya porsinya gede juga di trainernya, jadi kayak kurikulumnya apa, saya siapin aksesnya, resourcesnya, ikut ngerjain soal bareng, belajar bareng juga. But now I'm more of a coach. So that what change. Karena sekarang dia udah di sekolah yang offers that unlimited opportunities and access to apa ya, mentors and resources gitu. Yeah, so that's I'm grateful of, dan makanya terus pengen pay it forward juga, bikin sekolah yang nyontek ala-ala kayak gitu pinginnya ya di rumah gitu kan, 15 siswa gitu, we'll see lah, experimental, just giving them access. So there's no more excuse, we give access, we give as best teacher as possible, as best access as possible. Jadi semuanya terserah anaknya udah, baik tuis maupun other children, anak-anak saya yang lain maupun the students in my school at home, dan everyone else ya. Jadi we live in a world where there is no more excuses sebetulnya.
Susah juga ya. Pelik juga ya hidup dia saat ini ya, tidak ada excuse ya.
Ekspektasinya jadi tinggi ya. Sekarang makanya trennya slow living gitu kan, chill gitu.
Iya,
I think
slow
Jadi
living.
orang biasa nggak apa-apa kok.
40 years old kayaknya good thing ya. To
Zois.
start thinking slow living.
Zois, what kind of activities that you do outside coding and studying?
What kind of activities?
What is your third place? Do you have third place?
Do I have a
Other
third
than
place?
home and school?
I guess just like a couple of random hobbies that
Yeah,
I
what are they?
picked up. Name one.
Yeah, name one.
One is like chess, I guess. Still chess.
Oke.
Another
Itu
one
masih
that
ini ya, masih mikir ya, main chess masih mikir ya. Oke. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oke.
is
Name
somewhat-
two. What's the next thing after chess?
One other hobby I picked up this year that not really as strenuous as chess, I mean, not really yet. It's quite new. I've been trying to learn the piano lately, music
Okay.
in general.
Okay. That's so much chill compared to chess.
Nice.
Nice. Oke. Itu aja. Kayaknya kita udah di penghujung waktu juga. Aku pengen nanya last statement. Kak Gogo ada ini nggak? Ada satu statement yang mau di-share nggak? Tentang apapun bebas. Mungkin untuk apa sih? Gimana sih orang-orang bisa lebih baik?
Biasanya kalau ditanyain pesan-pesan kayak gini, aku jawabnya selalu jangan malas aja sih.
Ya.
Kayak apa namanya? Bukan no excuse kali ya. Ya mungkin no excuse juga ya kali ya. Bahwa hidup tuh 24 jam. Semua orang sama-sama punya 24 jam. Bobo 8 jam. Kerja 8 jam. Masih ada sisa 8 jam. Itu banyak banget buat ngapa-ngapain. So, you know. You can have fun, but if you wanna have fun, like, mean it. Kayak, ya aku mau have fun, right? Atau kayak mau kerja ya kerja. Mau apa ya kerja. Jadi kayak, you know. Ya, jangan malas aja sih.
Jangan mager ya.
Having fun bukan malas by the way. Kayak having fun as long as you intentionally wanna have fun, I think that's good. Gitu. Cuma kayak kalau nggak intentional dan kayak ngawang-ngawang aja gitu. That's not great.
Zois, what is one thing that you want to share so that the viewers now, we have more than 300 viewers, probably can get better?
Try everything. I guess try everything. Yeah, because I think Aya has mentioned this a lot already. Our passion is not certain, right? We don't know what we will do in the future. Like right now, I'm doing IO, I'm doing CS, I'm doing coding, but it's not guaranteed that in the future I'll be a software engineer. Maybe in the future I might be a musician. Maybe in the future I might be an artist.
Member of
Is
parliament.
No.
member of maybe.
Member
So
of Parliament. Gue vote nanti, tenang aja.
go for.
Vote.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Dibantu Imre ntar jadi promotor.
Mas Ainun, thank you Zois by the way. Mas Ainun, satu hal.
Apa ya? Mungkin karena ada yang komen tentang privilege, mungkin I want to address that. So I want to firmly say that privilege is real. Every one of us has privilege, and it is up to us on how we can identify and be grateful of those privileges and maximize it. Karena what we see as, let's say, a drawback atau challenge could be actually privilege that we don't realize. A lot of, let's say, if people think of privilege as meaning born into a rich family, hey, do you know that a lot of the second and third generation of rich families are useless youngsters because they are so spoiled with all their riches? They literally don't have the opportunity to work hard. So when the world requires them to work hard, they just don't know how to work hard. So it's a privilege too. Dan apalagi saya menjelang usia 40 ini ya, kalau dalam agama Islam kan usia 40, doa yang diajarkan, doanya Nabi Sulaiman itu acknowledging privilege. Rabbi auzi'ni an asykura ni'mataka allati an'amta alayya wa ala walidayya. Mensyukuri nikmat yang dianugerahkan Tuhan, privilege untuk kita dan orang tua kita gitu. Kalau konteksnya Nabi Sulaiman kan memang Nabi Daud ya. So Solomon the son of the king of David kan. So there is privilege, we have to acknowledge it, and itu yang diajarkan juga. So it is real, but it doesn't mean then you have an excuse because everyone has their own privileges. There's no point thinking about or comparing about our privileges with other people's privileges. It doesn't help at all. So no excuse, identify your privileges, be grateful of them, and then be the best version of yourself.
Oke. Mantap sekali. Kita kasih tepuk tangan dulu untuk sesi malam ini.
Wise sekali semuanya.
Oke, terima kasih sekali lagi Kak Gogo, Zois, Mas Ainun udah ngobrol malam ini, udah menyebarkan inspirasi untuk banyak orang. Mungkin nanti kita ketemu lagi, mungkin tahun depan, kita nggak pernah tahu. Nanti kita rencanain lagi ya Mas Ainun ya, mungkin 8 grader, 9 grader.
Biar jadi absolute higher gitu ya.
Iya benar. Tapi kalau dalam Islam kan hari ini harus lebih baik dari kemarin gitu kan. Ya kita dan kita melihat itulah ya. Kalau gue sih pribadi melihat itu dari Zois, udah ada perubahan berarti kita jalan ke arah yang baik. Jadi teman-teman semua di sini berusahalah untuk bisa lebih baik setiap harinya. Asik. Itu aja pesan bijak dari gue. Oke, terima kasih semuanya. Ada banyak yang nonton, ada 340 tadi paling banyak. Jadi emang sebenarnya episode sama Zois ini adalah episode live streaming selalu paling banyak. Jadi ini udah 2 top episode live streaming yang ditonton langsung paling banyak. Emang luar biasa memang. Terima kasih Zois sudah mau singgah ke channel yang sepi ini. Gak diaktifin ini. Gak diaktifin.
$800 tadi for free dong. Kita ngutang Om Gogo.
Iya, terima kasih juga Kak Gogo sudah meluangkan waktunya. Mudah-mudahan bermanfaat. Jadi kalau seandainya ada yang mau mock interview ke Kak Gogo nih, kemana nih harus singgah nih? Nyari info atau mana gitu?
Infonya ada di interview.elwastuargo.com. Ya, nanti ditaruh aja di note.
Mantap.
Kalau boleh.
Boleh lah. Boleh. Ini marketing ini sebenarnya program marketing ini. Asik.
Oh gitu ya.
Oke. Terima kasih nih ada yang bilang nih, thank you $600-nya kata dia. Wah, luar biasa. Oke, terima kasih semuanya. Terima kasih yang udah nonton. Sampai ketemu lagi di episode berikutnya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Gue end broadcast tapi jangan kabur dulu ya, Mas Gogo, Mas Ainun. Bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dadah.